That's Wally. He can sleep day and night. Probably because he hasn't got to worry about mortgage repayments, rapid rent increases because the landlords have got buy-to-let properties. Everyone's feeling the pinch, you know. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to get any better anytime soon. In about a month's time, we might be looking at another 50 percentage points. Another 0.5% on interest rates. 5.5%. Well, it's pushing fixed rate mortgages to over 6%. But what happens if they reach over 7%? Well, there is a risk of UK housing crash. Well, that risk is rising day by day as fixed rate mortgage deals, well, they come to an end. And then they've got to be renegotiated. Well, the tipping point for the economy could come if a fixed rate mortgage end up going over 7%. That's frightening. Don't forget, it's not like it was when we were growing up, you know, when we bought our first houses and house prices, well, they were manageable. They were tiny. But today, for instance, my son is selling his, he didn't buy it as a council house, but his ex-council house, for 250,000 for a mid-terrace. That's nuts. Who can really afford that? The house isn't worth that. It's just what people are willing to pay. Supply and demand. That demand could rapidly, well, diminish. Not because people don't need houses, but because, well, people just can't afford to buy them. Or they can't get the mortgages. It's going to get tough, you know. Tougher, I should say. Now, all things considered, Britain's housing market, well, it has actually held up pretty well so far in the face of relentless rises in borrowing costs. It's seen a 5-year high, really, isn't it? And the 5-year fixed rate mortgages are climbing above, 6%? And house prices, well, get out, they're through the roof. Well, that's because there's a lack of supply. We haven't got enough properties being built. No. Demand and supply, well, there's such a disparity there, a deficit. Well, we're never going to catch up at this rate. And the Tory government has done pretty much diddly squat. Even their donors, who are landowners, who are property developers, they're saying, I'm sorry, mate, we're not giving you any more money until you give us planning permission. The ability to build properties on these lands. Well, this is all according to the Nationwide Build Society. And, well, house prices are down already by 3.5% on a year ago. Now, they were rising about 15%, and now it's 3.5%. Oh. Won't be long before we have, well, negative equity. I can just say it now. Been there before, you know. Well, the Bank of England reported a small rise in mortgage approvals in May. But the key words are, well, so far. Doesn't sort of like give you a lot of hope for the future, really, does it? Now, it's just because there has yet to be a housing crash, despite 13 consecutive increases in interest rates. It's because, like I say, there's a lack of supply. You know, housing supply. The housing stock in the United Kingdom is, well, my son, his house went up on the market just a week ago, and last Saturday he had about 9 or 10 people come and visit to see the house. I guess I've never known that before. I wouldn't like it when we sold our house. Well, consecutive interest rates from Threadneedle Street's Monetary Policy Committee doesn't actually mean there won't be a housing crash. There is still the chance of there might be a soft landing, but the risks of a hard landing are rising day by day. I don't see any light at the end of the tunnel. We need to mitigate to stop this from happening, but no. Brexit has not helped. It's put us in a really bad position. Well, the housing market's resilience is explained by Two factors, I suppose. Firstly, Britain has a growing population, with net migration standing at just over 600,000 last year. Now, you might say, oh my God, immigration, all those people coming over in little boats and all that, getting their free houses and driving lessons, which is just a lie. But it's also Brexit is blocking people emigrating, people leaving the United Kingdom, just like me and my dear missus did a few years back. Can't do it now. No, not unless you've got huge amounts of money. In some cases, the golden visas have already been cancelled. So you're stuck with all the old uns, which doesn't help the NHS. Well, so Brexit is blocking Brits from emigrating. And then there's the supply of homes is, well, struggling to keep up. Since the Tories have failed the first-time buyers. Well, if you don't build the houses, well, the house prices are going to be maintained at an unrealistic high level. So these are people who have got the properties who want to hold those prices high. In fact, they want them to keep growing because then they make more money. It's an asset. Capital gains, I suppose. Well, and then we've got Brexit again, increasing the cost of building. Most of the materials imported these days. A lot of the cement is imported, etc., etc. And it's become extremely costly to get the stuff into the country. Well, and then they've got the threat of, a rapid drop in value. Well, I've already said 3.5% growth instead of 15. Okay, it isn't gone into the negatives yet, but it will do. So then we've got the second factor. And that is that most home buyers haven't really yet felt the pain of these interest rate rises. The Bank of England squeeze because, they're on fixed rate mortgages and they all have a fixed term generally. Now, Nationwide itself pointed out that 85% of mortgage payers are on fixed rates, but about 400,000 are going to have to refinance their mortgages because they come to fixed rate, fixed term, and they come to the end and they've got to be refinanced. You get a new package, a new mortgage, a different rate. Well, the rate will be based on the new rate, which happens to be more money. And that's going to happen every single quarter. 400,000 people are going to find that their mortgages are going to increase because it's got to refinance each one. Well, this is going to go on for years and years into the future. This is when interest rates are not going to be dropping all of a sudden, rapidly. No, it's going to be years before they start coming down. Well, this equates to around 20% of the fixed rate mortgage stock refinancing by the end of 2023. That's 40% by the end of, 2024. Now, as things stand, these borrowers they're going to see their monthly repayments rise sharply by as much as, on average, around £400 a month. That's a lot of money to find when you're already squeezed in every other direction. Some people can't afford what they're paying at the moment, haven't got no residual money. Well, now as for someone seeking a new 2-year deal, when their existing fixed rate expires. It's not very helpful, is it? And within those 2 years, we could see the interest rates increase further. Now, there are signs that many buyers are opting for variable rate mortgages in the hope that the Bank of England will take its foot off the brake and once inflation starts to come down. Only thing is here, the interest rate increases are not actually having an effect because we've got a supply side shock in the United Kingdom. We don't have the ability to get stuff made. We don't have the ability to get people in the workplace. No. So we have a supply side shock. And this all revolves around Brexit and the fact that we cut ourselves off from, trading with 447 million people, but also the ability to be able to import freely without restrictions, without red tape. And come the end of this year, that is actually going to get tougher, not easier. Starts in October, checks. Full play in January next year. That's going to make matters worse, not better. We could see our inflation increasing further. So expect higher interest rates, but increasing the interest rates is not the tool. Eventually it would be, Because eventually we'll all be in recession. We'll all be flat on our faces. And then high interest rates will have an effect. We'll have lots of empty properties. Not because we don't need them, but because, well, we're not going to afford to have them. And this will eventually happen, but it may not. It may be somewhat way off, to be fair. Now, the bank has been shaken by the rise in core inflation, which strips out items such as food and energy, and is expected to announce a 14th interest rate rise next month, I'd say around 50 odd percentage points. So the view in the City of London is that the Monetary Policy Committee will opt for another, let's say, half-point interest rate. So it's going to be 5.5%. Well, it could peak. They're saying it could peak around 6.25%. At what point are they going to realise it's having no effect? It's not working yet. Only way it'll work is if the country is put into recession. It's a supply side shock. Most economists know this. Yet they carry on because they don't want to accept, well, the core problem. You know, if you fall over and break your leg, you need to fix it, but you know your leg's broken. But if you're in denial that your leg's broken, you're hobbling about constantly and end up with a wonky leg, maybe foot binding or something, well then obviously you're not going to fix it. And then that's what's happening here. People aren't accepting that Brexit is one of the primary causes of the issues that we face in the United Kingdom. There's no getting away from it. You can stick your head in the sand as long as you like about that fact. That is fact, and it always has been fact. People have been warning about this from day one. People warned about this before actual Brexit referendum vote, when whole umpties put their cross in the wrong box. Warned. Still voted for it though. Now you're surprised why all this is happening. Okay, you can, let's vote, blame the pandemic, or let's blame the war in Ukraine. Yes, they're contributory factors. Well, I ask you, how come inflation's coming down in the EU, but not in the UK? How come inflation's come down in the United States? They always rose interest rates. It had an effect. It did its job because they didn't have a supply side shock. In the UK, we have a supply side shock because it's an island and it has to import more stuff because it doesn't make anything anymore. It doesn't have the raw ingredients anymore as it did years ago. The country's been sucked dry from its natural deposits. Has to import. Now we've got China. China's now retaliating on exports of core minerals for critical minerals for batteries and stuff like that. That is going to cause inflation as well. Well, they're hitting back because we're hitting back at them. It's tit for tat, I suppose. Well, can you imagine peaking at 6.25%? I think it'll probably go further than that, to be honest. Why they stick their head in the sand? But mortgages will then climb way above 7% fixed rate over 2 years. That is a tipping point. That really is a tipping point, and it could throw the country not just into recession, but into a housing crash, property crash. And then it's like that. Remember the last one back in 2008? Different reason, same outcome. Well, that could well be that tipping point, like I say, in which the housing market, quite frankly, just all the cracks become exposed. And what happened is it'll take the UK's economy down with it. Everything starts with property and it ends with property, because the country's wealth is held in assets, and the assets, our biggest assets, are property. Just how it is. Now the warning signs are, well, for an idiot like me, are clear. It's just obvious. It's just basic mathematics. It really is. I don't understand why people can't just see the wall, just can't think of the analogy now, but anyway, never mind. Well, if the interest rates stay close, anywhere close to their current levels, there will be a sharp drop in mortgage applications because people won't afford them, they can't afford them now. And as a result, house prices will inevitably fall. Now, Andy Wishart, who's a property analyst at the Capital Economics, and he says that where mortgage rates to be sustained at the current level for several years, house prices will fall by around 25%. But I think it's more likely then low inflation will allow the Bank of England to start cutting the rates from around 2024. I don't see it personally. Even Wishart, he thinks that house prices will fall by around 12% from the peak to the trough, which is hardly conducive to, I suppose, the pre-election feel-good factor. Yeah, little Richie Sunak will be standing up there if you've obviously turned up to the PMQs and saying things like, look what we've done. Make up some imaginary numbers, like the fastest growing economy in the G7 or something like that, which isn't exactly true. They do like to lie, don't they, these Tories? Well, how are we going to get youngsters and people to move on, what have you, so it opens up properties for youngsters, what have you, when we don't have that feel-good factor and we don't have confidence in moving or putting a foot on that property ladder? Because you don't know where the value of the properties go. You get a high mortgage rate and then, and then all of a sudden the bottom drops out of the mortgage. That's what's happening at the moment. People are worried and concerned. Well, there's always the renters though, isn't it? The renters do get overlooked, but also suffering pretty severe financial pain, to be fair. Rents are so expensive in the United Kingdom. Now around here, 3-bedroom house, you'd be paying $350 a month rent. Beautiful places as well. You can imagine what you're going to be paying in the UK. 3-bedroom house in Norwich at the moment would be like around $800, $900 a month. Nowhere as big as these either. Now, one gauge of mortgage affordability is the share of monthly income taken up by home loan payments. For the first time, owner-occupier on the average wage buying a typical property with a, I suppose, let's say, I'm going to say a 20% deposit. The long run average is just under 30%, but it's now over 40% and rising. Now, only twice in the past 40 odd years, 1989, I can't remember now, and 2007, has it ever been higher? Well, let's think about this for a second. Oh, crikey, yeah. Hasn't a housing crash followed both of those occasions? Yes, it did. Now, this is deeply concerning for those who've got the foot on the property ladder or getting the foot on the property ladder, and also those who are renting. I think at the moment, the only thing you can really do, though, is actually to try and do your best to mitigate the situation as soon as you possibly can. If I had any advice, I suppose that would be it. I'm honest with you, I don't have that worry. I don't have a mortgage. No. We managed to move over here in France and sold our house in the UK at a ridiculously high price. Well, it wasn't a high price, but it is in relationship to what it was. And to buy a property that needed renovation, this place here. And we don't have a mortgage. So we're fortunate in that way. Okay, I don't earn a lot, but it's, is it always about money? I suppose. Little snory boy over here. He's a lovely little fellow. He's out for the count. That he is. Anyway, I'd be interested to know what your experiences are and how you feeling at the moment. Are you a bit anxious because mental health and what have you has got a lot of pressure on people and relationships. It really is. It's going to be tough. Deeply worrying. It really is. Let me know. Leave it in the comments down below. Anyway, if you want to support the channel, you can do it on Patreon or buy us a coffee, and the links are down below. But also we have memberships as well, and I'm working on what I can do regarding additional stuff I can offer people who are members. So I think we've got about 20-30 odd members at the moment, which is quite nice. And it's I I'd like to build that up, to be honest. So there's memberships down below it as well if you want to become a member of the channel. And you also get to, when you're a member, you also get to see other content. As long as if it's not unlisted content, stuff I haven't listed yet and stuff, so you get to see it first. So, or they might not have finished it. I suppose there's that to it. Anyway, let me know. Please leave it in the comments down below, but also beat the like button and maybe the subscribe and little bell icon, because then you get one fuzzy feeling in your pocket every time me and little Wally here uploads another video. Where's my other dog's gone anyway? I've got one laying over there in the cool. Oh, door's popping in my office. Well, ta-ta. And have a lovely day. Sorry to bring bad news. Ta-ta.